Hey guys, it's your girl Bianca B, and so today I wanted to do a video based upon moving to LA, affordable places you can live, my suggestions and my experience in LA. And I've been here for 5.5 years, so I'm pretty familiar with a lot of places and a lot of different areas in LA, and I'm going to give you the real in this video. So if you want to find out how you can make your transition to LA better, please continue watching. Alright guys, so I've been living in LA for 5.5 years. It'll be 6 years in September. I don't know where the time goes, but I've been here for a very long time. I moved to LA when I was 17 to go to film school. I was turning 18 in November, so I started college kind of young, Some people go to college at 17, some people don't. But when I first moved to LA, I stayed in Ladera Heights, which is near Inglewood, close to Culver City, close to like West LA. And so my experience living in Ladera Heights was cool. Like, you know, I come from Detroit, so being in LA, you're already excited. So I thought that it was a cool area, but most people think that it's hood, it's not a good area. But when you've been to Detroit, you know hood. When you're from there, you know hood. So yeah, palm trees in the hood, not too bad. So yeah, I first moved to Ladera Heights and I was in school, student housing. I lived in an apartment, and the student housing was set up differently because when you start school, most people live in a dorm, but we lived in like a public apartment. So we were around regular people, families, everything. So my experience overall in Ladera Heights was cool. And then like I was graduating in 6 months, but before then they had moved us in January and I was leaving in June, so they moved us to Marina Del Rey. I love Marina Del Rey. If you have money, I suggest living near Marina Del Rey, or where we lived was Playa Vista, but it's literally just a light away from Marina Del Rey. So if you have money, live in Marina Del Rey. It's near the beach, it's cooler at night, it's not too far from everything, but I love Marina Del Rey. When I get a nice coin, I will move back. So I ended up graduating in June and moving to the valley. I've always knew that I was going to live in the valley just because I used to work out in the valley at the Sherman Oaks mall, and so I just loved driving that way. I love the area. I like that it was kind of peaceful and away from the city. And I want to move further out in the valley. I want to eventually move to Woodland Hills. So I'm going to give you the valley and the areas. So you have Van Nuys, which is where I live. You have Sherman Oaks. You have, what's after that? Reseda, Tarzana, Encino, Woodland Hills. So everything up the 101 north if we want to talk about freeways. The valley overall, my experience, I feel like the property is cheaper unless you go to like Woodland Hills. When you hit Woodland Hills, it starts getting really, really pricey, but it's a nice area. I love Woodland Hills. And then after that, you have like Calabasas, and then you have what's after that, like Hidden Hills, all that little area. So if you want to get like a cheaper, affordable kind of deal, either live in Inglewood, LA, or move to the valley like Van Nuys, Tarzana, Reseda. Those are like affordable kind of like areas. Now, I personally don't like Hollywood area. Yes, you're by everything, but it's just too loud. I am a suburban kind of girl. Like even in Detroit, I lived in Farmington Hills, I lived in Southfield. Like I didn't stay in the city for that long of a time. I only grew up in the city, but I love the suburban areas because it's just quieter and peaceful. If I really wanted to get that city experience, and if you love the city, move to Hollywood. And another area is North Hollywood. North Hollywood is that real LA experience because you're by dancers, you're by actors, you're by actresses, you're by everything. It's a really busy area, and if you want to get that real LA like college life, kind of like 20s vibe, move to North Hollywood. You're by everything. You're by 24-hour fitness, you're by the Art Institute, you're by Sweetie Pies. You get that whole like North Hollywood experience. So if you really want to get that LA experience, move to North Hollywood. Now here's my thing on roommates and living alone. So when I first moved to LA, I had roommates because I was in student housing, I was in college. My overall roommate experience was amazing. Like, I loved my roommates. The other room kind of like, it was a lot of people coming in and out every year. But overall, everybody was cool. The experience was good. Like, I don't have any complaints about roommates. Like, not at all. But I was forced to, you know, have a roommate just because I was living in the dorm. Now, when you're done with college, or if you're not in college, get a roommate, someone you trust, someone you know you get along with. Make sure you plan out your move. You want to make sure whenever or wherever you move to that your living situation is steady, because you don't want to, you know, just up and move and then you're stuck and then you have to go back home. You know, I highly recommend, and I've seen a lot of people come and go, and that is the one thing and best advice I can give is make sure your living is secured before you make that big major move. You want to make sure that you have a little part-time job or any kind of job to lock it in. Make sure, you know, you trust your roommate and your roommate is going to pay the bills on time. Like, you want to make sure that you planned out everything thoroughly, because you don't want to make the mistake of ended up going back home. You know, a lot of people just want to move out here and follow their dreams, and that's perfectly fine, but you want to make sure that you do it the right way. And just know when you move to LA, you're not going to get famous like I thought. I thought that when you moved here, oh, you was going to get famous, you was going to be on TV. No, you really have to hustle. You have to have a hustle mentality. If you want to live out here, you have to have tough skin. You have to deal with the fake, the real, different types of people. So I highly recommend, you know, you just plan everything out and just don't think that when you move to LA, you're going to automatically be famous. You got to go through the first rough year. The first year of LA is really rough, especially if you come from somewhere else. Like, I come from Detroit, Michigan, so it's a different kind of accent. It's a different kind of vibe. It's a different kind of people. So you want to make sure that, you know, you stick it out your first year, because I've seen a lot of people come and hate it. Like, I hated LA when I first moved here. To be honest, I would lie to people and say I loved it, but I really didn't. I didn't like the people. I didn't like the environment at all. It was definitely different, but I've grown to love it. You know, I have my days where I hate it. I have my days where I love it. Overall, the experience has been amazing. I've grown. It's a amazing young woman out here, so I learned a lot. But yeah, so make sure when you live out here that everything, you just plan it out, you know, because you don't want to be fucked at the end. That's just the real about it. What else about LA? Like I said, if you have money, live in Marina Del Rey or, you know, Playa Vista. Those areas are really nice. If you are balling on a budget, the Valley is your best friend, or West LA or LA. What else about LA? Oh, living on your own. So I live alone, but I have a dog, Harpo. I love him, and he's like my best friend. I'm so glad I got a dog. In LA, living on your own, you do get lonely, you do get sad, especially because I'm not near my family at all. Like I said, I've been out here since I was 17, so I've literally had to grow into a woman on my own out here. Living in LA on your own, you definitely learn a lot about yourself. Like I said, I moved out here when I was 17 at a very young age, and I literally had to become a woman out here on my own. Like, I don't have a family. I do have a family, but they're in Detroit. But I don't have family out here. You know, it's really hard to find really genuine, good people. And I've been blessed to have been around amazing people. But, you know, there's nobody like that I like trust, you know. So I literally had to learn a lot on my own and grow into a woman. So living on your own, I definitely have to suggest, you know, your safety is key. I am such a private person when it comes to my living and my personal space. I love my space and I don't trust everybody. So I highly recommend you not let everybody know where you live. That's just a genuine thing for me. Like, even if I have a family, even if, you know, I move into a big house, I like my privacy. I don't like everybody in my personal space. And, you know, people, when they go into your home, they, you know, just see what you got, see what you're working with, and you just never know if somebody gonna set you up. And that's just the street hood in me. I don't really trust that many people, and that's just what it is. Like, I just don't. So I highly recommend, like, you shouldn't let everybody know where you stay, especially if you live on your own, because it's safety. Harper, come here. Come here. Harper, come here. This little guy, Harpo, is my BFF, my son, and I'm so blessed that I got a dog because I was really depressed living on my own. It was my first time living on my own, and I always said that I would have my own place by 21, and I did that, so I was happy about that. But yeah, living on your own, just worry about your safety. Don't trust everybody. Make sure you're protected. Get an animal if you have to, if you can. I highly recommend you giving one person your keys, someone you trust. I trust Maureen, so she has my spare key all the time. So you just want to make sure you are surrounded by good people. The transition to LA the first year, like I said, is sometimes very difficult for some people. Some people get lucky and get blessed, but most of the time the first year is challenging because it's a new environment, it's a new kind of style. You know, I've noticed with LA, though, the positive part of LA is that a lot of people grow into who they are when they move to LA. A lot of people find themselves. A lot of people come out gay. A lot of people come out, you know, successful. A lot of people come out as drug addicts. I mean, hey, LA. Just depends on the vibe and who you surround yourself with. Who you surround yourself with is a major key, and that's everywhere. You know, you just want to make sure you're around the right circles. Now, if you want to be in entertainment, really secure your name and protect yourself in anything, because it's a very small city, it's a very small industry, and you just want to make sure that you're around the right people and you don't reveal too much personal stuff about yourself to other people, because people will try to sabotage your name. You know, just want to make sure you're around genuine people. And if you have a friend from back home that's your best friend, vent to them. You know, that's just what it is. Just be careful on your creative ideas. Be careful about that and who you pitch stuff to. Yeah, so that's overall the experience in LA. Move to the Valley if you want to ball on a budget. Get roommates if you need to. If you don't need to, don't get them. Yeah, but like I said, I like my personal space, and you know, living on my own, I can be more creative. I can be as messy and junky as I want to, because your girl is a messy as F. Okay, so yeah. If you guys have any questions, please comment below in the description, and I'll name like the cities in LA, like the cities in the Valley, the city in LA, like near the airport. So yeah, follow me on Instagram and Twitter at itsbianca. Also subscribe to my YouTube channel, and don't forget to plot, plan, and slay. Bye guys.